Miss Ames, are you gonna speak tonight?
We are now recording.
You plan on speaking, Miss Ames? Miss Ames, are you gonna speak tonight?
Yes, sir. We are now recording.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to see a packed house. I'm gonna now call this June 26th regular scheduled council meeting to order, and Councilwoman Williams will lead us in prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Please bow your head and close your eyes, if you will. Father God, thank you for another blessed day. Thank you for just letting us be here today as a community, hoping to learn and to grow together as one. We just thank you for the blessed event on last Saturday, June 10th. It was not only a June 10th celebration, I counted joy as a Blackstone celebration for our community to come together. We just love, we just praise you. And Father, we're asking for peace and patience tonight, so everybody can get an understanding of what needs to be said and what needs to be done. We want to work together as one and on one accord, and I pray all of these things in your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. For those that are able, please stand and let's honor our flag with pledge of allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get into the agenda, Council, I'm going to be adding a closed session under Administration, Town Attorney. Next, we have before you are 3 sets of minutes, one from a continued meeting on the 3rd, one from a special meeting on the 9th, and our regularly scheduled council meeting on the 15th of May. Council, you can take these up one at a time or all 3 at once. What's your pleasure?
Move to dispense with the reading and approve all 3 of them together.
President Nash has moved and Councilman Miller has seconded. Are there any discussions about the minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. The next item is we have 4 visitors slated tonight, and the first is Miss Kim Neal. Is she here? Hi, how are you doing, Miss Neal? Come on down. Do you have any remarks that you'd like to make?
I did.
Okay, no. I have a resolution here for you.
Okay.
So I'll just stand here out of your way, and when you're finished with your remarks, I'd like to present this to you.
Okay. So I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, and the council for the recognition of my grandfather through this proclamation. I also wanted to thank the former mayor, Billy Colburn, because he really worked with me from the summer of 2021 to get this thing moving. This is something that's been on my bucket list for a number of years, and having worked in government myself and currently working in government, I know the process takes a while, and so I appreciate the patience and the respect that this council and the town has shown my grandfather. I also want to thank Chastity, Bryant, and Ellen Apps for the inclusion of the event in the Juneteenth celebration, which I hear was a hit, and I have to apologize for my lack of attendance because several months ago I planned a family reunion picnic for my family. My mother's family is from Crewe. My father's family is, of course, from Blackstone, and so that was Saturday. Had I been able to cancel that, I would have. But I just wanted to say that my grandfather was a person who, those who knew him spoke very few words, much like my father. And my father was Dexter Neal. And, but he also believed in inclusion of everyone. He didn't see anybody by the color of their skin or their ethnicity. He was a biracial man himself, and he never, ever talked about race in the household. And my father was the same way. And I just think this proclamation is an example of how we should move forward as a community. In Blackstone and Nottoway County, I own a home in Nottoway County myself. I was born and raised in D.C. And how we should move together as a state and how we should move together as a country. If it could just happen in my lifetime where we could look at each other and not see ethnicity and race, it would be a beautiful thing. And so he really believed in the representation of everyone at the end of the day. And so it started with the voting rights. And so I would just wanted to thank you, and I appreciate the time. You didn't have to do this because you recognized everything on Saturday, but I really appreciate you doing this for me and my family. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment. Members of council. This is a proclamation that I've signed and was written about Councilman and
Thank you.
thank you for being here. And I'm glad that you mentioned Mayor Colburn. He did a fantastic job, as he always does. He's quite the public speaker, but he gave quite a story about Councilman Neal and what his wishes were and about the bench, and he made a lovely presentation out here. So I agree.
Yes.
I'm glad that he did this for you, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, come around.
Council chambers.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. Miss Sarah Allen, you're next. Would you please come to the podium?
Great.
Hey, man, you still have two more visitors that are signed up.
Hmm,
You have two more visitors that are on the agenda.
okay. All right, that's fine. She can come on. I don't care about what order. You're welcome to come on if you're already standing.
No, I'll wait my turn. It's no big.
It is your turn, but it is your turn.
But you want me to hurry, get me out the way?
No, absolutely not. I'm looking forward to your speech. I want to get you up here first.
Well, okay. Well, since you said it like that. So first, I want to thank the Blackstone Town Council for earmarking money for Taylor Bottom. Taylor Bottom is full of hardworking people who actually, they really don't get the credit and the positive attention that they deserve. So and that's a great start, and I appreciate y'all working with one another to get that done. Secondly, I want to talk about this little box. So Nottoway County is part of Crossroads Community Services Board service area. And they service maybe 4 or 5 counties, but all of them have a satellite office except for Nottoway County. So what this box is kind of works with suicide prevention. These are free. And what I want Nottoway, what I want specifically is for Blackstone to provide a space for Crossroads Community Services Board. No, I do not work for them, but I know we are in need of mental health services to do a presentation. And this box has, like if you know someone who has suicidal ideations and they have a lot of medications, you can kind of lock their medications in here. And this is not going to prevent them from committing suicide, but it will provide them with a little bit more time so you can get some resources. And this is not an unbreakable box. So if they are able to get inside the box, it's full of resources, pamphlets of people to call, that they can get help for, and this little pack that helps dissolve excess medication. You can pour it in here, put some water in it, shake it up, it'll destroy it. They also offer bigger size boxes for handguns and things like that. They also have Narcan presentations, which are absolutely free. These resources are free to Blackstone, Nottoway County, Crewe, Virginia, Burkeville, Virginia, but we do not access them, and I think it's a waste of the money because every year the county has to pay a certain amount of money into Crossroads, and a lot of our citizens don't have transportation to get to the place. So, like for example, if you live in Blackstone, you have to get to Amelia. And if you don't have the transportation or you don't know how to read the bus schedule, I'm not even sure if the bus schedule goes to Amelia Crossroads, but we have to do better by our people. One of my degrees is in addictions and recovery, and we do have a large problem in this area. And I just want to bring that to y'all attention and just ask y'all to reach out to Crossroads. I work with a lot of CSBs in Region 4 of Virginia. These are absolutely free. Absolutely free. And I just want y'all to provide a space for them to come and do a presentation to reach out to the community who really don't know how to get help. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Tucker, you're next. Please state your address.
My address is
And, your
336
name.
Tucker Drive, Blackstone, Virginia.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I came today to thank the council for their participation in Juneteenth. It was a big success and it was very nice, and hats off to Chastity and her committee, and thank the council people that came out. It was nice to see you there, and it was a good event, and hopefully we can do a bigger and better one next year. So thank you very much. And as to what Sarah had, that is a big need in our county. So if we could find something that we could kind of incorporate into our community that would be accessible to the people in Blackstone, especially other places too, but definitely in Blackstone. So I would like to commend you on everything you've done so far with being my wide mouth. So, so
You know,
thank
the
you.
mayor was there too. Did you know that? The mayor was downtown Saturday most of the day. Did you know
Which
that? You said the council. The mayor was down there too.
Well, I consider you as part of the council.
Oh,
Okay, but I was so
I
happy
don't know
to
if they're
see.
gonna, I don't know if
In
they'll
fact, I
accept
hugged you, Mayor Green, so.
me. Ma'am?
I know you were there. I said, in fact, I hugged you that day, so I know you. Thank you too, Mayor, for coming.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Thank you, I know.
I know. Thank you so much for your
Mayor,
comments.
if I may ask one question of Mrs.
Yes.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Sarah. Sarah, question for you.
What you said?
Question for you. You say that Nottaway doesn't have a satellite office. Is it a satellite office or is it actually a service provider where people can meet with council?
So you have community services boards,
I'm familiar.
and each one of the community services board, like Crossroads, they work Cumberland, Prince Edward, Lunenburg, Charlotte, and Nottaway County. Every one of those counties, except for Nottaway County, has an office from Crossroads in it.
I don't know if it's like that now, but 25 years ago when I was county administrator in Amelia, when I started there, they based some of those kinds of things on funding contributions. And I don't know if they have a formula yet for the different counties on how they pay, like the jail pays per inmate day, that sort of thing. And I don't, back then, that was the explanation why there was nothing in Nottaway, because there wasn't a Nottaway contribution commensurate to having an office. I don't know if that's the case, that's a long time ago. So, I don't know if that's the reason there's not one here in Nottaway County, but, the one in Amelia seems pretty big. I mean,
It's pretty busy, and the county is not Blackstone per se. The city is responsible for sending the money to the county. And because they may not have the funds to open a satellite office, if y'all invite them, because it's called prevention. Prevention says if y'all invite them, they will come do a presentation for free. So since they can't put an office there, at least we can bring people out to meet them and see what's there. And that's all I want. Just gotta plant a seed first.
I think to have the fourth, satellite office, I think would be a funding issue, or at least it was 20-some years ago, okay? And like I said, I don't know how they calculate it now, and what they do in order to have a satellite office, but that is something we check with the director of Crossroads and their office.
I would like to add something. Ms. Allen, if you can give us a contact person that we can call and get the information from, if you have that.
I don't have it, but it's Crossroads Community Services Board, and the only reason I say I don't have it off the top of my head, because I do work with Hanover, Henrico, District 19, South Side, and sometimes I do a little consulting with Crossroads, depending on what my job wants me to do. And all I know is stars with 434 and 392.
Let Ms. Simmons work on that board? She serves on that
I'll see
board.
what I can find.
Yeah.
Check it out.
We'll check it out.
Before we go any further, Ms. Tucker, I have a mayor's minute at the end of the meeting, and I've got some nice things to say about Juneteenth too. So I'm gonna stick to the agenda, but I was very pleased as mayor, and I have some comments to make at that time. Didn't want you to think I was gonna forget it. Okay. Ms. Ames, would you join us please at the podium?
All right, I came before this town council March 20th, and I have the minutes from that meeting here, and brought up the fact that Mr. Christopher Page suggested to Miss Julie Craig to use a third-party nonprofit to reserve the town square for her second Saturday art walk for 7 months. By doing this, the town of Blackstone loses $700 in income based on the rental of $100 per usage. for the 7 months of the event. I told you then that I did not think a town official should offer this information as it takes away income from the town. By the way, I understand that DBI has entered into an agreement with Ms. Craig for the use of the square. Ms. Craig and Mr. Page are both on the board of directors for the chamber, and that's what he was referring to. This seems interesting when in previous councils, they felt like the for-profit businesses should pay a fee for the use of this property. If the council is going to allow this type of action, why charge it all? I'll again bring Mr. Christopher Page to task for suggesting the Chamber of Commerce come before council again to ask for an additional funds for the fireworks of July 1st. Also, to advise them to only ask for $9,999, not the full $10,000, which I understand the council reduced to $9,000. Mr. Page, when you seated at the as a town council member, are you putting the at-large population who voted you into that seat first, or are you serving as a member of the board of the Chamber of Commerce? Please make up your mind. Others who have sat on town council have been members without trying to benefit other organizations they're affiliated with. They have sat up there and worked to support and represent those who voted them into those seats. Also, while I'm on the fireworks, if the town of Blackstone is supplying $9,000 towards the fireworks, why are they not taking full credit for the event? Having organized this event in the past, the chamber should well be aware of the expenses involved and thus budgeted for their investment in this event. I appreciate the fireworks and what they can mean to the community, but does this council feel that it has to bail out every group who cannot budget their events? This money was not requested back in March as set by the council, so why should it be making an exception in the processes set forth in the past? The fireworks can never be a fundraiser for the chamber until monies can be charged for admission and parking, and holding the event at Wrigglesworth Sports Complex will not help make that happen. If the town is giving the chamber the amount of $10,000 or in that park, and you now have a tourism employee, then the town should take over the fireworks and get the full credit for the event. Speaking of the budgeting of events, the Town of Blackstone's Juneteenth Celebration Committee needs to assess their budget and expenses for their event as well. If the town is going to continue paying $5,000 or even $10,000 now that the chamber is receiving close to that for the fireworks, the Juneteenth Committee will be asking for the same thing. The town needs to take over that event as well. You have hired a full-time employee for tourism and economic growth. Let them take over these events. On Juneteenth Facebook page, they challenged the classes from Luther Foster High School to compete in fundraising for the nonprofit Town of Blackstone Juneteenth Celebration Committee. Has anyone seen their 501c3 determination letter?
Right here.
Thank you. No, it's a valid question to be asked. For 3 years, they've claimed they're nonprofit. Thank you. As we are using town funds to support them, the town should have a copy of it, which you do now, and there should be an audit by a certified public accountant of their books on record as well. In 2021, the first Juneteenth event was conceived, and the town blessed them with $5,000 in seed money to get started. This money is designed to create the business plan and operating expenses of the event, and this committee should have become self-sufficient after that first year as long as they budgeted correctly, and the town should have stopped bankrolling this event unless it was going to take it over. This committee has continued to receive $5,000 in 2022 and 2023. I have nothing against the Juneteenth. I have nothing against the celebration of it. I just celebrated in Lawrenceville. They had their event on a minimal budget. It was great. They didn't close down Main Street, block businesses, or close down access around town. They had local politicians running for office available to answer questions, community resources explaining their impacts, free food, music, other vendors, Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan and Mayor LeVar Stoney as speakers. There were giveaways and even some dancing. Everyone there had a great time, from babies to seniors, and it closed down naturally after about 4 hours. This committee did not ask for the town or county for funds. They did it on their own. They spent $2,400 and gave out gift cards.
Your time is expiring.
Thank you. I'll finish this at the second half.
All right, if you don't mind, you might have some questions. Mr. Page, since you were mentioned, I'll give you the floor. Is there anything you want to respond?
No, I already addressed the art walk issue. I mean, that is a business here in town, and I do represent those businesses, and they asked me to find a solution, and after speaking with agencies in town and other people, we thought that was proper. You know, that would be a route that could go. And as for the fireworks, the request was put in by the deadline. I think the paperwork was lost, and asking them to ask for a dollar less is because people were not here to have enough votes to. You have to have a 2/3 vote, 10,000. I don't think that's not representing anything. I think the town wants the fireworks to go on. Having it at Wrigglesworth, I think the chamber was trying to continue your legacy. Isn't that where you started?
We started it there because
You
of
started,
COVID.
but you started it there.
Yes.
So we're trying to keep that going. But it may end up having to be a town event, like I said at the last meeting. I do agree with you on that. But you're trying to create a conflict, which the state of Virginia says isn't a conflict. Somebody can serve on council, and there's a special exemption for them to serve on a board, like a chamber, a 501c3 as well. And whether I'm on the chamber or not, if a business needs representation, I'm gonna represent them.
But when you're taking funds away from the town,
I don't remember the last time the town has actually charged somebody to use that square, to be honest with you.
don't know either because most of the time it's rented out to nonprofits.
Thank you.
Any other members of council? Do you have any questions or statements to Ms. Ames? Staff, Mr. Norbert, thank you so much for your
Thank you, Ms.
comments. Ms. Emma Wright, our DBI Executive Director, would you come forward? And I know the pretty lady with you too. And you don't at your home? Right.
Good evening, all. This is
Good
my
evening, ma'am.
first official report to you all, so I'm very excited. And I just wanted to let everybody know that my official start date was Monday, June 12th, so 3 Mondays ago. And during my first week, I calculated that 3 businesses over Blackstone have received a total of $21,000 for the facade improvements, 312 South Main Street, 120 East Broad Street, and the 300 block, including JL Surveying, Tada, and
The Black Pig.
Gathering.
yes, your antique shop. And in the month of June, we also received an extra $20,000 towards our facade improvement grant. One of my goals this month will be to find more historic business owners who need facade improvements and can benefit from this program. On June 14th, I spent the day with our supervisor for some training with Virginia Main Street, Zachary Whitlow. And we reviewed what it will take to keep Blackstone a Virginia Main Street community. DBI's board members have agreed and chosen an applicant for the feasibility study on Dillard Crawley, 114 South Main Street. And the chosen applicant is Summit Design and Engineering Services. A stakeholder meeting will be held with Summit Design in the middle of July. This grant consists of $25,000. Last Tuesday, we had an intern from Nottoway High School, and her main project consists of rebuilding our websites, visitblackstone.com and downtownblackstone.org. Our top priority is to upgrade our visitblackstone.com and make it vibrant, inviting, and easy to navigate on both ends. We are also hosting a Rev-Up training session for Virginia Main Street in September. This will be held at 101 on Main and will take approximately 4 hours, consisting of a tour of our historic district and some museums. And so this Rev-Up training session will consist of people from all over the state, so it's going to be a big event for us. And also, I was contacted last week to assist with the Governor's Summit, which will be held in October at the Officers Club at Fort Barfoot. This event is hosted by the Virginia Rural Center. And finally, we have 4 new board members starting in July. Mandy Kendrick from JL Surveying, Kayla Hageman from KM's Gyms, Diana Lester from the Inn at Blackstone, and Dale Hinton, the owner of the new Snow Cone Truck Snowy RVA. And thank you for your time and input, and I'm so excited to be a part of DBI in Blackstone.
Well, I'm sure council's glad to have you here too. I have a question for you. The feasibility, grant, where are we in that? Has it already been awarded? Or you
We have
applying
awarded
for it?
3. Oh, no, that was the facade improvement grant. The feasibility study?
Yes, we were awarded the grant, and we've already chosen the contractor to do the feasibility study. That's something.
Yes, I'm in contact with the realtor now to try and get inside the building, and then we'll go from there.
So we're going to the next steps.
Mr. Van Orbit, would it be good for council to make a motion to accept that grant? Or is this totally in there?
I think DBI was the
This is our
receiving
grant.
party.
It's fine. I just want to make sure we do it right. Y'all are under our umbrella. And,
I don't know about it, but I think DBI, you applied for it.
Mm-hmm.
We applied for it and we received it.
Now, those new members expanding your board, or are they replacing people?
They are replacing members,
Oh.
yes.
It's good to see new people serving.
What's the date of that Rev Up event?
The Rev Up, it's in September. I want to say the Wednesday after Arts and Crafts. I don't know the date off the top of my head.
Email Jennifer with the date.
Yes, I will, and you
So
all
that-
are invited.
So that is a Virginia Main Street training, so other Main Street communities, their volunteers or their directors will come here.
Mm-hmm.
So
What day is that?
She's,
Oh, you can
it's
get
in
the date.
September, like the 12th, 11th or 12th.
It's the Wednesday. It's like the second Wednesday, I think.
council, do you have any other questions for our executive director? I've been to her office. She is very clean and organized, and I can tell her touch. And I can tell you, I'm very impressed with the little bit of time she's had to get where she is. I think we hit the jackpot, guys. Okay?
I'll say the same thing. She came to the Chambers board meeting, the last one, and very impressive. So we really enjoyed getting to know her and running ideas by her.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Thank you so much, Emma.
Thank you.
Is at this time, there's 2 times that y'all can go.
Oh, and the report is in their packet.
Yes, I forgot to mention
We're
that.
looking at it. Thank you. There's 2 times at a council meeting when delegations from the public can come to the podium and speak. This is the first, and at the end of the meeting, we'll have the second. Are there any other visitors that would like to address council? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, please. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Micah Lax. I live in Pickett Court, and she lives in Pickett Court, and she lives in Pickett Court. We'll hear about the bumpers, and then she has something in back of her yard, not the yard, but want to say something. So I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, because I'm not. I'm here for my papa and my grandpa and the kids around Pickett Court, and I appreciate what y'all did. But we has been promised that we will get regular bumpers like we've been wanting. And I know, Philip, you told us we could, and then you said that they wouldn't do it. But y'all promised us, and Billy said that, Billy was right there too, that y'all promised us. And we want what y'all promised us.
You just gotta wait, that's all.
I know that, but y'all been telling us to wait, and we've been waiting, and then y'all tell us, and it's just like, I don't know, because people keep going fast around there, and one of these kids get hurt.
They're going fast on those new speeds?
Yes.
Yes.
And some of them going around.
I'ma just take videos and just show y'all, because y'all don't want to, like, nobody believes us.
These new speed bumps are pretty significant. We went across them the other day at 15 miles an hour, and everything in the back of the truck comes out. So if they're speeding, we're getting them.
I know, and like the ones that we have down, then y'all need to put on top of them then.
We will, yeah, I told you.
And if they come up, then we come back.
Okay.
Well, right now, supplies and government supplies are hard to get.
I understand that.
I can assure you a couple of things. First thing is we believe you, okay? And we appreciate you coming to the podium and sharing with us. And the other thing is the manager and I have had several conversations. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, he's doing the best he can with what he's got to work with. It's hard to get stuff, but it's on his agenda, and at the earliest possible convenience, he will get it in there for you.
I know that. It's just.
I mean, I got to agree with him. Philip and I drove through there because I wanted to know. We'll drive through and see what's going on. And if people are speeding in there, then they don't have any feelings in their head. Cause I mean, I went through there with my truck and it's kinda plush. And it, so,
Yeah, and I'm talking about the other ones where kids are mostly.
Well,
Like when you
taking-
come around Pickett Court, you need some
Right.
right there.
Right.
taking a video and getting it to us with license plates, that would really, really help. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so the smaller ones, because we only got those ones in 2 areas.
Right.
Now, we need some in that top and as you go around. Those are too close, like they're close by each other. That's not preventing them from coming through here, coming through when they enter from speeding and when they go around after they hit those bumps, that's not preventing that.
If it's agreeable, real quick, I'm not trying to interrupt, but I've got more of those speed bumps laying around. We ordered enough for Taylor's Bottom and for that, and the plan was to do Taylor's Bottom. If you want to put 2 more down there, I can stick 2 more down there.
Not trying to be rude and sorry for interrupting, but you said that the ones that we already have, you could put them on top of them, and we get 2 extra ones.
No, I think what it was is he was saying that the contractor was gonna come in and add to those, but now I think the contractor's not gonna.
New contractor on our contract, this year, he's like, dude, I don't wanna do the speed bump. So I can get somebody here, but it's just gonna take longer to get here.
But can you add the new ones
Yeah.
on top of the?
The old one.
No, you can't do
I
that.
think they need to lay flat
They
on the
have to
ground.
lay
I can
flat.
put more in there.
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome.
I can
Yeah.
add 2 to it.
Is that gonna be
What
taken away
I
from?
would ask you to do is leave your phone number with the clerk, okay? And the manager will contact you, and I'll even ride out there with him. And, or either Chairman Miller is Street and Light, and come and see what you got, and we'll do whatever we can in the time being. Now, we'll tell you, I understand everything you said, and I see Sergeant Matthias back there, I hope he doesn't throw anything at me. It sounds to me like we've got maybe an enforcement issue too. If people, the speed limit is 55, isn't that right, Tom? 15, I meant.
I hope
15.
not 55, that's the problem.
That's called, there's a Freudian slip and there's a dummy slip, and that was a dummy slip, okay? No, the General Assembly had to write a law. We didn't have the authority to reduce the speed limit to 15. We had to get the General Assembly to pass it and the governor to sign it. So that's been done. But the manager and I will talk with the chief and see if we can, maybe make a few more patrols, maybe kind of sit in the bushes, whatever we need to do. But it sounds like a combination of both.
You wanna go over there in the morning?
Now.
Philip, what you doing tomorrow? We can ride over there tomorrow instead of.
I've got several appointments, but in between the client.
How about
call me.
Wednesday afternoon? Can we do that?
Wednesday afternoon is
Wednesday
cool,
afternoon?
yeah.
All right. So we'll be over Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, what time?
Yeah.
About 3 o'clock. Are you around?
See,
Okay.
okay.
So, and another thing I want to address, well, probably 2 more things. That hole back there, something has to be done about that hole. We got bullfrogs, we have mosquitoes, we have rats. I mean, stuff that we never had. I mean, huge bullfrogs from this. And
It's on private property, but it is as a result. There's always been a little creek back there, and we replaced a section of culvert that ran in between some homes. I don't know if you guys remember, but we replaced a section of culvert, put new drop inlets in at the street, and when it came out, Jason stopped at the property line, at the tree line. What we need to do is go further in and create more of a creek bed, because right now it's just.
yeah, and it smells.
Okay.
So something.
Well, what I'd like to
do.
do,
Permanent maintenance easement.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to refer this issue to the chairman of Street and Light. We'll be over there Wednesday afternoon. He'll look at it, and you two do what you do. Okay? Is that agreeable to council? Okay.
What for this right here? So that's in the alleyway. It's
Behind Pickett Court, it goes
yeah.
behind community
So,
feeding.
but that's isn't that the towns? If it's crossed there, it's not the
No,
towns.
ma'am, I believe it belongs to the flipping thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Well, we'll see y'all Wednesday.
Okay.
I have another question.
Okay.
Who's coming Wednesday?
It's gonna be the
Can
manager.
you check? It's near my papa, but it's like the sewer thing. You know where the little. Yeah, it's like water and it smells nasty. I wanted to tell you, but Papa said he would talk to y'all.
Said he was about to have a
But
heart attack anyhow.
yeah, like he probably would if he would have kept on. That's why he didn't come today.
We'll check it out.
And then my grandma told me to tell y'all this, and then I'm done. Jean Lax, y'all know her?
Very well.
She told me to
And
tell,
Paul.
we are paid taxes, but we should get what we want. That's all.
We're trying.
Okay, now,
Like that.
one more thing. So, everybody know that Pickett Court is hard to get through. On that other side, half of the time, you cannot get through there. What are we going, what do we need to do so that that road can be corrected? Because that is not, they had an incident over there not too long ago.
Yeah, she had a
and the fire
passed out.
department and stuff couldn't even get in there.
Yup.
That should be a hazard. It is a hazard.
Manager Van Orbeck would like to answer your question.
I don't know if you guys remember, but about 4 or 5 years ago, Mr. Hamner was on council at the time, and we came up with 2 different options. One of them was to post no parking on the inside, and nobody liked that idea.
No, because that's not going to work.
And the second idea was that we would move, because the town owns a 50-foot right-of-way, and that pavement's probably only 22 or 23 feet wide, okay? To move that inside curb in another 8 feet, and it would still be within the town's right-of-way, and that would put a parking lane, plus you'd have the 2 lanes to go next, okay?
So,
It would widen it by 1 car lane, and the residents, and you may remember, you were on council.
I was too.
The front, you would have no front yard.
I don't care.
Greatly reduce the.
Long as the
front yard on
ambulance can get
inside,
through.
And I don't think majority of the folks that came at that time were really crazy about the idea. So I think Mr. Hammer just said, we'll just leave status quo for right now. But it's horribly unsafe. We recognize.
Yeah, because on my side, they want like a driveway. Some people want a
And we
driveway.
said we were gonna provide driveways.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you, because you did say that.
So,
yeah,
but
something
we didn't get
definitely.
much push from the community at the time. I think Mr. Hammer was like, well, if it's kind of a mixed bag, we're gonna sit, but it's not good to get fire truck in there. You can barely get in my town truck.
Yeah.
I don't know how people,
It's like a lot of people on her side, you can't fit through there.
excuse me, thank you.
This is the way it ought to go, okay? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take an official action. I'm gonna refer the widening of that street to Chairman Miller and his committee, Street and Light. If they feel like it's something we need to go forward, then we'll have a public hearing. So that all you people down in there can speak their mind as well. And then we go from there. It's something that we're not gonna do tomorrow. It takes time and government, okay?
Yeah,
Then
I-
we're gonna have to find the money. Money's tight right now. And when you start messing around making roads bigger, it's not gonna come cheap. But we hear you, and we're gonna, I don't think you're gonna find another government that the mayor and the chairman and the manager is gonna be there in 2 days. But
Right.
here we are.
And I do understand that, and I appreciate that. But I know that, this thing have been coming up for years.
When my papa was
So
There's
something
nothing we
really
can do
needs to be
about that,
done.
But right here in the presence, we're here and we're gonna act.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to do it.
Thanks.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank y'all, and I appreciate the way you handled yourself, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay? And give Jean and Paul my best, okay?
I will.
Any other citizens would like to come and address council at the podium?
I will say something, Mr. Mayor. if you
I'm
don't
sorry
mind.
for not giving you that chance. Go ahead.
I tried to drive through there the other day. They are parking on both sides of the road. My little car can barely even get through there, so.
Well, that's why I think it warrants me referring it to Mr. Miller and his committee, so we'll do that, all right?
Gomez, could you make it Wednesday? Yeah.
Problem.
Okay.
Do you have time to call a meeting, Madam Clerk, by Wednesday? No. You don't have time to call it,
You're gonna notice time.
So how
but
much
2 members can go.
But 2 members can go.
We'll work, let's get on with this agenda,
Okay.
we'll work that out,
Work that.
okay? All right? Chief Thomas, you're the batter up.
Before you get started, am I gonna offend you if I try to stop the fire in here and fix it?
Oh, please do. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Pretty mild agenda this month. The good news is the radio system bids were opened. The committee for the radio system is planning to meet at the end of July for a technical review with the vendors. They're still shooting for a 2025, 2026 timeframe for a new radio system. We also still do not know the price related to the radio system. from what I'm being told, it's still an active procurement process. And the good part is we're going to review the technical standards, the equipment, before we even understand what the price is. So we'll look at the equipment, see what we like, and then prices will come down the road. The other great thing, we finally got a schedule for the tower. It's supposed to hit the production line the first week in August. At that point, they're hoping completion in November, and then it would be delivered to Richmond, get its first service, and then to us. And that's kind of pushing the time frame. I'd really would say first of the year we'll probably see it in station, and then have to outfit it. But this is finally a good step. It's just like everything else. They're having to get pieces and parts from all over the place. They don't put anything on the production line until they have everything to put it together from start to finish. So it's kind of waiting on stuff to come in. We also, under new business, have graciously been provided an intern. We have Lauren Fulford with Nottoway County Public Schools, who is working as an intern at the fire department. It's been a great relief for us doing administrative work for us. I feel that this is going to be something future-wise for offloading a lot of work. We're currently transitioned, as I discussed last month, to a new reporting system, and she's been working her tail off to transition old data into new formats and bring it all over. One of those impossible feats for a volunteer to sit and do all week. So we did the rodeo, was a huge success. Even though we were kind of shorthanded, several of us were enjoying a wedding in the Caribbean of our Captain Foster. So still was able to go on without a hitch. Also, our junior program is expanding. We have 5 applicants, which is the most I've heard of ever since I was a junior. We are one of the youngest, or one of the oldest programs within the Commonwealth. I've even heard rumor that we are one of the first to have a junior or cadet program, and it was developed in the 1970s. I myself was a junior at the age of 14, and here I am still 32 years later. Less hair, but still at it. Next big event is our Cow Bingo food truck event in August, and that's once again, as council approved, in Wrigglesworth. We did get our ABC license for that, and still in the planning process. We had several members of the fundraising committee go to, I believe it's Amelia. They had one of their events, I forget the name of it, just to get some ideas of how to make it a bigger event. We already have food trucks that are reserving, so Devin and his committee have worked great. I think this is going to be a surprising event. We also have a blood drive June 30th. I believe it's Friday, if I'm not mistaken, from 10 to 3. We currently, I believe, had 20 open spots out of 45. That was when I last checked yesterday, and walk-ins are still accepted. American Red Cross has been very pleased with the turnout in Blackstone when we do hold these events, and actually scheduled 2 more for this year and next year, already putting us on the books. We're also holding a Stop the Bleed class. I would encourage anybody that's available to come to this. This is on July 17th, with a lot of the violence that's occurring nationwide in the streets and in public places. This course is developed in all high school teachers, all administrative staff, I believe, have been through this as well. The Stop the Bleed class, they're really putting a stronger emphasis. Back in the younger days, you used to take care of airway, and now they say don't worry about airway. If they're bleeding, stop the bleed before you even fix the airway. So the emphasis now is to get tourniquets on people and make sure they're not bleeding, and then worry about the rest of the stuff to save their lives. This course is developed for the layperson to pretty much, how do you stop somebody from bleeding to death? And I believe all participants walk away with a kit to assist them if they do ever come into a situation where somebody is hemorrhaging, to be able to stop that bleed. Lastly, we've celebrated some anniversaries, some big ones. Eric Stiles with 23 years of service, Tim Hogg of 22 years of service are big ones. We also have Jonathan Repollet is one of our firefighters, was successfully began recruit school today with Chesterfield County. So it's we have a good amount of volunteers that started in the volunteer realm and now have moved into the career field and have also continued their time and tenure. Great for the organization. We get experience from career departments and on a volunteer basis, and it's a true blessing to see the members expand. Repollet's been on our organization for maybe 2.5 years, and determined that he wanted to be a career firefighter just based upon his volunteer experience with us. So, very fortunate. And that's all I have, unless anybody
Chief,
has.
I have a question. I'm very excited and curious about the junior fire department. And it says that you have 5 applications to be tabled. Is that because you don't have room, or what does that mean?
So application process, they get tabled for 30 days for an investigation,
Okay.
interview.
You're vetting them?
And then they get voted on within 30 days.
And, I know your senior firefighters, you can only have so many. What is that with the juniors?
Junior has no cap
Okay.
because the juniors aren't, they cannot be interior firefighters. So at the age of 18 is when you become an interior firefighter, and usually at the age of 18 or once they graduate high school, they move up to the seniors.
It's a wonderful program. I'm very grateful for it. You're making fine young men and women out of this as well. So, kids at that age, and even 62-year-olds need some structure.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a
It definitely
great thing.
gives.
I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate it.
I believe they got the big pull. They did a career day at the high school, and we're handing out applications, and they just kind of rolled in. And we've had, I want to say, 3 or 4 of our juniors this year graduated high school, so we kind of expect them to move up, and then they'll be replaced. I believe their current membership is 12, which is it's really good. At one point in time, they were down to 2 to 3 people, and so
Please
it's
give Eric and Tim my compliments. 20 years of service, that's
Certainly.
amazing. So we're indeed blessed.
yes.
I appreciate your report. Council, do y'all have any questions for the chief? Thank you so
All
much
right,
for
thank
what you
you.
do.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask one question? real quick?
Absolutely.
We're drawing near to the end of the month, and I know there's not a active finance person up at the county.
Correct.
We have not received your apparatus money for the year, and I know they wait till June to do it, but
I will.
we inquired at least once up there at the county, and we're not getting anything back. Can you find out? if that's
Certainly.
what's coming? It's a $70,000 check.
Yeah, they should
I
have
didn't know if they were
definitely written it
Y'all
by
keep me in
now.
the loop. I don't mind
But you haven't
getting in the middle of
Not
it.
that I'm aware of, no.
That
Nope.
sounds like fun, so just keep me in the loop.
Yep.
Okay? Thank you, Chief. Next, council, before you, we have 2 batches of bills that need to be paid. The first batch of bills have been paid but not yet approved by the council in the amount of $702,720. What's council's pleasure?
Move to approve.
Is there a second to Chairman Nash's?
Second.
Ms. Williams, second. Any discussion or questions about these bills?
Yes, I got a question. What's it out? Wait a minute, I just had it. Rodriguez, Yagri, whatever, I can't pronounce the name, but it's $2,895. 415 Oak Street.
It's from where we sold that lot, and that was the access.
That was the difference.
that was
Yeah,
left
we, if you remember, that property was taken, voluntarily given to the town by the property owners. We had the sale, sold it for $25,000. Our total cost, including real estate commission, was less than 25, and we returned to them the difference, which was $2,800.
Mr. Nash, you have any questions?
Just so the public knows, out of the 702, a lot of it is passed through.
Yes, quite a bit.
There's
Yeah,
only
the
$60,000,
balance is
$70,000.
$67,000. Yeah. So
That's not grant reimbursable
right,
or
it sounds
direct
like a,
reimbursable.
oh my gosh, number, but it's actually $66,154.93. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Nash. Any other members of council have questions on this first batch of bills? I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Ms. Williams.
Aye.
We're in June.
Okay,
Is that, aren't y'all going? Okay.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I stand
Aye.
corrected.
Stay in the corner.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. The second batch of bills that you have before you are in the amount of $180,340.73. They need council's approval and they need to be paid. Is there a motion? Mr. Miller has moved it. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman says second. Any discussion or questions about these bills? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Miller.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, council. We have no appropriations tonight, is that correct?
That's correct, but I think you're gonna have a whopper next month, at the end of the year, to clean up everything from their year end.
I think we have 2 committee reports tonight, is that correct?
That's correct.
The first is Accountant Finance. They met on the 17th of May. Chairman Nash, would you or the manager like to report?
There's not a whole lot to report. We've done
Just
everything.
reviewing the budget?
Yeah, reviewing the budget, and we've met since then.
And I'll be
About that.
continuing this meeting tonight until Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
For the adoption.
Okay? All right, the other committee report we have is Employment and Police. They met on June 20th. Chairman Miller, do you or Mr. Benoit have any
Yeah,
report?
I have one more thing. The Employment and Police Committee wants to bring it before council that we get a human resource officer.
Okay.
And it was a 3-0 vote, so.
All right, can we get that on the agenda for next month?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Wait a minute, didn't you say we have a continued meeting?
We want to continue this meeting till Wednesday night to ratify and approve the budget.
But you're saying we gotta wait till next month for the human resource?
I think you need to wait a month to get the job description the way you guys want it, have it all put together, because we've been trying to find a consultant, and we're not finding that guy. So they're asking for
Okay,
an
I'm cool
employee.
with that. I'm cool.
Our turnaround time comes in we're going to meet again in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I think that's just enough.
Kind of
time.
early in the month, I think 17th, if I'm
15th
not
or
mistaken.
I don't have
Yeah, I
an issue
know.
with that.
My only concern is, here we are adding positions outside of a budget.
That would be the request.
So, we're going to increase the budget already, and we haven't even gotten into the budget year.
Well, it's proposed.
Potentially the case.
Well, I agree, but there's no way we can do it prior to them, because you have to advertise and have another
No,
public
the
hearing.
budget is set. Now, just so everyone knows about our budget, we're required by state law to pass a budget this month. We've had the appropriate, public hearing, and we've advertised the budget. State code allows us to reduce the budget in any way, but Mr. Nash, Chairman Nash is speaking of, we cannot add to a budget that's already been advertised.
What would be the most correct time to request anything that would increase our budget? Is there a good time?
Yeah, in the budget process.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Isn't it
Yeah.
March? When
What
do y'all?
month would be?
We said this year was March.
The next budget. Like,
Yeah.
so we're talking about a-
Typically March.
By March?
Yeah.
Yes.
March.
But see, but here's the thing. We've been fighting this.
Oh, no, I'm not
for-
negating whether or not it needs to be done.
Right,
It's just,
right.
I wish.
And see, we cannot get no consultant. So, and the employment committee feels that, hey, a lot of this stuff that's going on, a lot of these problems would be handled if we could get this employment. And Philip has assured us that he can hook that up. It's no problem.
All right, I'm gonna be adding that to the agenda, and we'll have some talks and be prepared and bring it to council. All right?
I've got a question.
Mr. Page,
Don't we do have money set aside for HR consultant? How much is that?
$20,000.
How much?
20.
20,000?
Do you see
So
it enough for a full-time position?
It was always gonna be a part-time gig, right?
No.
I don't think that's the intention of the committee.
Okay, I tell you what, since there's so many questions, let us meet again. When we come back, we'll have it down detailed, but no, it is not a part-time position.
Yeah, but Philip just said that there's not enough duty there for a full-time position.
No, I didn't say that. There's not enough money
that.
there
Gotcha.
for a full-time position.
But
not
we
the
are
duty
20,000 into it. We have some money set aside.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
As far as the job description, I'll check at work, see if I can.
Yeah, and I'll check, and
HR.
I'll do one in the morning, and I'll get back
Some
with you.
guidance to go by for such a
I'll
position.
check also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a number of us can do that.
Sounds
Right.
good. Do y'all wanna meet next week and then?
I think
report
we
to
need
council?
to, can we set up a meeting for next week? It's gotta be 7 days or something?
No,
3 days, okay.
Y'all compare your calendars. I'm gonna recess between the meeting and the closed session, so if y'all can compare calendars, I'd appreciate that. All right, anything else, Chairman Miller? Manager Van Orbit? Next, we don't have anything on the consent item. If council will bear with me, I could put this in the mayor's minute, but I personally have reservations about a consent agenda. And guess who brought that to the council in my term? It was my idea. I kind of dislike council taking action on one or more items that aren't properly addressed with the public. I've been to a meeting or two where I was not a member of the body, and I didn't know what in the world they were talking about. I think it's much more transparent without a consent agenda. Would council be agreeable to removing the consent agenda from our meetings? And just have items that the town manager needs to present be on the agenda? What do y'all think?
I think we'd have to advertise it because our order of business has.
No, I don't think this is in the code, is it?
Is it on
Not
there?
in the code.
Not in the code.
Oh.
It was just an add-on.
Something
Oh,
we
yeah.
added on.
It's not in the code,
If it was
so.
in the code, I don't know that I'd bring it up, but this is a simple vote, majority vote, and we can eliminate the consent agenda. I don't think we've used it since I've been mayor.
What are we voting on that's on the consent?
What's the purpose? I mean, what's?
It's usually like street closures or.
Is there a policy that we have to have it in there?
It's just
No.
little things that
Why don't we
don't
just remove it?
require a lot.
That's what I'm asking you to do. That's what I think needs to be done. And if you agree, then we speak through our motions, and I would ask for a motion to remove the consent agenda from our regularly scheduled meetings.
I move that we remove the consent agenda from our regular meetings.
President Nash has moved, and Mr. Miller has second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Now we'll move into unfinished business. Item number 1 is business license penalties. And I believe that's our well-able town attorney, Ms. Tessie Baker.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, Tessie, could you come to the podium? Because we don't have the, I guess we're still waiting on while you're moving up, I'm gonna fuss. I guess we're waiting on supply issues to get better mics in here.
He came and looked at it again within the past month, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
Okay. Will you tell him that the mayor's aggravating you?
I-
Thank you.
I told him that the mayor keeps asking him.
Tell him he's aggravating you now. Mrs. Bacon,
Yes, thank you.
good evening, welcome.
Thank you. I was asked to look into what could be done regarding business licenses, or specifically the lack thereof. So, for example, if a business in town does not get a business license or apply for one, what happens? And so, as a little bit of background, what the state code says is, if you're going to operate a business in town, and there's actually a lot of rules that go into what's operation, what are those business types that you need to have a business license. What the state code and our ordinance is a little bit more lacking on is, well, what happens if you don't? The state code is very clear, and it actually gives a uniform ordinance that the town may adopt. For the most part, we have what is in there. It also gives the town an option, which I like this too, and we do not necessarily have this part. It says in the code that in order to issue a business license, a town can pass an ordinance, essentially ensuring that all of the other taxes and fees are paid too, by that person that's applying for the business license. So that may be something, that the town wants to look into to adopt. I know some other localities that I've dealt with have looked into that matter too, and it's been helpful to them to take that path. Now, with regards to taxes, the code is very clear that it is collectible as a tax, so a business license tax. The code also does allow for certain penalties and interest to be assessed and included on there too. And there's a lot of different stipulations about when you can, when you can't. There's an appeal procedure, and there's also maximum caps on the penalties and on the interest. Generally, it's 10%. And so those are things that can be enforced. Those can be enforced as taxes. So when you are a local government, you have a lot of privileges and different ways that you can